Bitcoin's seeing a pretty drastic sell-off as of right now. Are we going to expect lower numbers, or could this actually be the bottom for the rest of this dip? We're going to take a look at the chart, see what's happening here. If y'all want to stay tuned, go ahead and stick around, and let's go ahead and get started. All right, we're taking a look at Bitcoin. We just recently had a pretty drastic sell-off as of right now. We touched all the way back at the 12K area, and we had some signs that were telling us that we were going to actually be experiencing this dip. So we're starting here on the 15-minute time frame, working our way up from there. But as you can see, we got this nice price action that led us to the downside here, and we had quite a few trend line breaks for the most part, to also give us a nice little sign that hey, we might be expecting something to happen. And this was just a all around nice play off to the downside too. We had some consolidation right here around the 11,500 area, or 11,200, 300 area, and then we had another dip after that too as well. So Bitcoin definitely looked like it's trying to consolidate around the 10,700 area or so. I was always expecting a retest of 10.5K, and it looks like we finally got that somewhat. Not exactly right at 10.5, but definitely around the 10,600 area is where we got that nice little retest at. So if we even zoom in a little bit, out a little bit more, we had major trendline breakage that was letting us know that things were going to get bearish. As far as the Patreon members are concerned, we actually got out of all of our trades, and kind of just waited for this thing to kind of cool off. I was pretty busy the last couple of days, so I didn't take any shorts. But this was telling us that, hey, we could be experiencing some sell-off, so just be prepared for it if anything. And we saw that move to the downside. So things happen, and this is this normal for a bull market rally? I would say this is pretty normal. Based on our previous bull run in 2017, one of the things that had been said to us was that and I think I had also mentioned it on some of my private videos as well too, is that a 35% correction to the downside is totally possible. So far Bitcoin's retraced all the way from 12K to 10.5 or 10.6 area, which is really right around a 11% correction to the downside. So even if we were to adjust and correct down even more, that is a firm possibility. But this has also given us a great opportunity to scoop Bitcoin up on the low during a possible bull market rally, and the rest of its 4-year cycle, if anything, right? So people need to understand that this happens, and it's pretty normal for a bull market as well. There's been a lot of talk about DeFi and the DeFi projects and what they can do for people, but as for the most part, we're still seeing that people are taking their profits when they want to take their profits, and that's totally fine. I would say for a bull market rally too as well. Even here on the 45-minute, this purple trend line here was a big trend line for us to break under, and when we broke underneath that, it looks like we continue to have sell-offs from there on out too. So we had our blood diamonds that were signaling to us that we were experiencing some possible sell-off too as well. So it's nothing to be upset about. It's pretty normal for the most part. So but now we have to wait for our next proper setup. I was going to wait for some more consolidation here before we took our next trade, but lo and behold, the whales continued to dump on us here. So what we're going to try and look for maybe is more consolidation here, or we just could experience some more downside, and maybe come back down to retest this 10.5K area pretty solidly to see if we can hold it for support or not. So even going into our 90-minute time frame, we can still kind of see that we are getting money flow that's kind of moving to the downside. Even on our 90-minute time frame, we had our yellow X's too as well. Currently breaking through some nice little trend line support here too on our purple trend lines as well. So things are looking like they want to add up a little bit more bearish for us. for the short term factor too as well. But 12K and right at about 10.5K are just major areas for us too. We've had this consolidation wick way back here, basically a Darth Maul wick happen as well too. So if we even start to zoom out on these higher time frames, we're going to see something of a Darth Maul candle again too as well. So I would say this is somewhat of a fractal pattern kind of playing out here. Maybe some type of they have the drawings for them here. Not the head and shoulders. It's basically a cipher pattern that kind of looks like it wants to play out here. So I'll have to do a little bit more research on the cipher patterns as well. But for the most part, we just use market cipher and our other indicators on this channel to determine whether or not we are bullish or bearish. So obviously it looks like we probably got a little bit more room to the downside or maybe some consolidation. I don't really see us moving back up to 11K or 12K anytime soon, but we're going to keep our eye on the charts, wait for the proper setup, and whenever that proper setup is in our face, we'll go ahead and take it from there. And this was another, the 4-hour was also giving us a clear sign that if we broke below this, we were going to end up to the downside too as well. The only thing about the 4-hour was that we got a fake out in these last couple of dips to the downside too as well. But it looks like on this one, we finally had the complete sell-off. The 1 point extension was going to lead us to that 10.5K area. So even if we take the 1 point extension from here to here, this is what I was expecting. I was expecting 10.5K or somewhere right around in that area too as well. 10.6, but the 1 point extension, this was always a key time frame that I was looking at to say if we broke below this, just be ready. And we did break below it. I was a little hesitant to take the short only because we had our previous fake outs below this trend line as well too. But this time the bears really did step in and sell this market off. So not to be unexpected, but I wasn't going to risk a long being taken in that area either. Our 6-hour, it was, also telling us the same thing. Hey, if we break below this trend line, get ready. This is going to lead to a sell-off. And if we take our 1 point extension from here to here, that was giving us 10.5K to say the least. So we got that trend line break, and it looks like we continued to sell off. So we're just going to have to wait to see. This was probably one of our major bearish trend lines right here as well too. The fact that we have broken underneath it, it doesn't leave a big bullish taste in my mouth, to say the least. But we're gonna need to see some probably more consolidation for some other trend lines that we could break up above, and then obviously our 12K trend line is going to be our biggest factored trend line to be laid out, for the most part. But you can even see here on the 6-hour, money flow is also kind of rounding off just a tad bit too as well. Let's turn on our buy and sell signals here, and you can see here we had our sell signal way back here to signal that sell off, and we got that nice little sell off there too as well. So let's go on into our 8-hour time frame, see what's happening here. For the most part, the same trend line here was pretty big for us to break underneath, but this was also a good indication that we could definitely see some lower numbers. I would have taken this the other day, this short, but at the same time, I was just like, we rode our longs up to the top side here, and I'm just sitting pretty right now. For the most part, it was just like, I could. If anything, I just have more time to accumulate USD to buy this dip here down a little bit lower. And that's basically what I was waiting for too. Throw on some USD in there too when we hit some lower numbers as well. So let's go on into our 12-hour. We can still see that this was a pretty major trend line for us to break below or underneath too as well. A nice little pivot trend line for us to send us back down to 10.5K. But that's why I've left the 10.5K trend line on here too as well. I figured that we were going to come back down to retest that. Even our 100 EMA on our daily is sitting at around like 9K or something like that. Our Trello trend line is sitting, where's our Trello trend line sitting at? I don't even think I have it on here, to say the least, but I did want to look at the hash ribbons. Hash ribbons are looking okay for right now, but our Trello trend line I think was sitting right at around like 8K, 9K area. So even for us to come back down and retest 9K is not out of the works. That would probably be our 35% correction for continuing the bull market. 35% to the downside, puts us at around that 8K area, if anything. So it wouldn't be out of the ordinary for us to come back down that low. And we do need to be ready for it, but also it gives us a perfect opportunity to buy the dip, if anything, too, as well. And so that's just something that we have to be aware of, too, if Bitcoin wants to make that big retracement to the downside. So let's take a look at the 21 hours, see what's going on here. As far as the bearish trend lines are concerned, I'm really not seeing that many bearish trend lines. I mean, we've already broken through one of them, and that led to a pretty big sell-off for us right now. We're sitting on the 100 EMA on about the 21 hour. Money flow kind of rounding off here on the 21 hour as well, too, going on into the daily. The daily's also giving us that nice blood diamond there, too, as well. So that's definitely going to indicate that we got some more room to the downside, if anything. Possibly some more consolidation with some red candles on the daily, too. Currently, the 100 EMA sitting at about 10,300. If we start to consolidate out a little bit further, retesting that 100 EMA at about the 10.5K area, that would be pretty normal for us for the most part. And then to see if we hold support on it or not, that's what we're going to have to keep an eye out for. Taking a look at the 2-day blood diamond as well has appeared for us. So some big indicators, some big bearish indicators for us on these higher time frames for the most part. So not to be overlooked at all, but this is definitely looking like Bitcoin probably wants to make its 35% correction during its bull market rallies to continue probably a little bit further up to the upside too as well. So we just need to be ready for it if it is to occur, and maybe looking for around that 9K to 8K area to definitely put in some buy orders, if anything, or to short this puppy down all the way into that area too as well. I would say that our one of our another major trend line structures is right at about 10.5K. If we do break below 10.5K, I would definitely be looking for a short, if anything. So 10.5K is definitely going to be a short setup probably for us in the future. So if y'all are interested in joining us, feel free to check out our Patreon page as well. We do have a private trading group on our Patreon page. When you join the Patreon page, make sure that you give me your Discord username, and I can give you access to the private category on Discord. So let's go on into our 4-day and see if we ended up getting our 4-day sell signal. 4-day sell signal has appeared. It has confirmed for us too as well. But looking right here, if we break below this bullish trend line, that's where we're going to need to probably want to maybe put in a short for us as well too. We had a nice little break above it, and it does look like it kind of wanted to fake us out here just a tad bit. So let's go on into our 5-day time frame. 5-day time frame. Oh, look at that nice little sell signal there on our 5-day as well too. But during bull markets, this is okay. We had that same sell signal back over here with a nice little correction. Same in our 2017 rallies too, some sell signals on our 5-day, which led to 35% corrections to the downside as well. So, that's not anything out of the ordinary. And for us to come back down to retest our 50 EMA, maybe even on our higher time frames, is not out of the ordinary either. But if we were to kind of retrace back just a tad bit, our 13 EMA was definitely holding support for our big body candles, if anything. But if we are to wick down lower than that, that is a firm possibility, and you need to be ready for the market to give you that move if it is to occur. So no sell sign on our weekly, but we did have the sell on our 6-day. So our next sell signal would be our weekly sell signal, which would probably lead us to a little bit lower of some dips too as well. But the thing is that during our bull market rallies, weekly sell signals that occur are pretty normal, but they do lead to some pretty substantial corrections to the downside. So just be noticeable of that. And it looks like 10.5K would probably be our next major support. If we break through that, I'm looking for at least 9K, possibly into the low 8K areas. Let's go ahead and turn on our daily time frame here really quick. And I do want to turn on our 100 EMA to see exactly where that's sitting at. So if we turn Cipher A and we turn our ribbon 9 on, our 200 daily moving average, sorry, I'm thinking 100 daily, it's 200 daily, sorry. So our 200 daily is sitting right at about 9K. If we are to have that 35% correction from, let's say 12K all the way down to 35%, which is about 25% actually, would be the 9K area. So not out of the norm for Bitcoin to possibly come back down and retest that 100 EMA sitting right at about 9K. That's just our super bearish scenario. If it wants to play out that way, it could. Other than that, we're going to look for consolidation around the 10.5K area and then maybe a bounce there to continue possibly moving sideways and then back to the upside. But definitely Bitcoin's trying to hold support above 10.5. If we break below that, we're definitely looking for possibly 9K area. Let's turn on our Trello trend lines here and see if I can find it here, because I had it up originally. That's sitting at about 7.6K. So this is just a daily average of where Bitcoin could possibly come back down to retrace right at about that 7K area. And 7K, that would probably be the full 35% correction for our bull market rally. What we probably want to look for is also the hash ribbons to give us a nice capitulation sign too as well. And if 7K is right at about 35% to the downside, let's just measure that moved all the way down. Let's see. Yeah, so 7.9K is right at about 35%. Wouldn't be out of the norm, but that would definitely be a very, very nice opportunity for us to scoop up some Bitcoin on the low during its possible bull market continuation to the upside too as well. So these are just super bearish scenarios for us to play out. But if we do hold 10.5K, I'm looking for us to consolidate around this area for a little bit longer and then maybe have a nice little bounce before anything else could happen. But definitely keep an eye out, keep an alert out so that way you know what's going on and we can play the market from there. So other than that, I mean, our daily money flow is still looking really nice. Our 2-day money flow is still looking pretty good. 3-day, I would say that there's money still in this market. There's still bullish money in the market as of right now, to say the least. But even on our 6-day, and then as we get into our weekly, things are starting to want to maybe have a little bit of a correction aspect to it as well. But yeah, for the most part, these are our key areas that we're looking at. So go ahead and put some, trend line alerts or whatever, some price alerts, so that way you can be notified of what might be happening next for Bitcoin. And with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. So don't forget to join us in the Patreon page. And also don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way y'all can be updated every single video that we make on this channel. And with that being said, I'll see y'all in the next one. CTO signing out. Peace.